Hi, I'm Marcia Young. I'm a resident of Westford, and I'm also a part of Eco Nuclear Solutions, which is a local group of scientists, engineers, and environmentalists who advocate for nuclear power. And this exhibit that we have at the PCA is sponsored by Eco Nuclear Solutions, and I'll let Susan now.
And it's a bipartisan group.
That's right.
We care about the environment. That's why we care about nuclear power and we advocate for it. So I'm Susan Tordella Williams. I lived in Westford for 16 years. Now I live in Ayr, but I did help paint this beautiful building when it first opened. And this exhibit is co-sponsored by the Massachusetts Cultural Council, as well as the Fitchburg Art Museum, where this was exhibited in their community gallery way back in April of 2024. So we hosted this contest. It was actually a contest. The Cultural Council paid for the prizes. We received entries from 10 countries and 7 states.
And about 40 entries totally.
40 entries, and it was only on the positive aspects of nuclear power, which is hard because the common mythology about nuclear, someone says that word and they get all anxious, and really it's totally overlooked as a clean, reliable electricity source.
Safe source as well.
Say some more about it.
Well, I would like to say a little bit more about the
Okay.
art too. This exhibit was invited to be shown at the UN Climate Week last September. So I think that was
It was an activity related to the UN Climate Week, but people from all over the world attended. There were 200 attendees, because in our work we have met other nuclear advocates from all over the country as well as all over the state. It's really a growing movement, especially now that Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Governor Healy, as well as the president have embraced nuclear power for its many benefits. So this is showing another angle of nuclear power, how it's in harmony with the environment. And this is by Bridie Woljeko. She's from Lunenburg, and she didn't know that much about nuclear power, but she's part of the Fitchburg Art Museum, and she likes to win contests. And she cut out all these old pictures from old books and put it together, and you can see there's the stack, and what's actually coming out of there is clean steam. And that was our first place winner, just unanimously. We just loved it. One of the reasons it's in harmony with nature is it only takes 1 square mile to make a nuclear plant compared to the hundreds of square miles for other types of so-called clean energy.
great.
Do you want to say more about her?
No, I'll move on to
Okay.
Gayatri Karnik, who was from India and produced this amazing piece of Warli folk art. And I don't know if you can zoom in it, but here in the corner is a little nuclear power plant in this village, and it is connected to this little hut where 2 people are reading books under a light for the first time, and bringing power to these primitive sites. Susan emancipates women.
Let's do that one next. But this is hand painted, and she sent a photograph of it. So some of these we printed out. This was printed out, and if you just look at the detail, it's phenomenal. And to do something this exquisite in 2 colors, I think is really admirable.
Very cool.
Well, let's go to 3rd place, then we'll go to emancipation of women,
Okay.
which we both care about. Go ahead.
This is called Unleash the Gift. It's by Jenny Jasmine Lakay from the Philippines. And you can see, how she has captured unleashing the nuclear power from this gift box. Produces all of these things like people in space and medicine and all of the activities. It supports all of the activities around the world. So.
And a green, healthy planet, because nuclear power contains 100% of its waste.
Right.
That is one of the benefits of nuclear power, 100% of the waste. Okay, over here, the artist is present in the gallery today, me. And I became inspired to do this because of what our leader has taught us. I only learned more about nuclear power through David Butts from Groton. He started talking at our Unitarian church, which is full of progressives. So you would think Unitarian and progressives don't go together, but we progress to the next best idea, especially if it saves the planet. And I learned that women in developing countries, you can see her, she's cooking over a wood fire. Someone had to gather that wood, and then she is cooking over a wood fire. She has to go to the pump to get water or to the river, and then she washes clothes by hand. So perhaps the listeners to this have done that, have done those 3 chores maybe when they're camping. This takes a lot of time. So there's no time to learn to read. There's no time to teach your child to read. There's no way to get ahead in the world and progress to an oven, a washing machine, and running water, things we just take for granted. We get our phones, we can have access to birth control and read books, because reading is a subversive activity that can move you forward in life. It's like the key. So there's a little yellow brick road to, again, clean, green, nuclear power that just produces steam, because the energy's so hot, you need water to cool it down. There's almost too much. But in essence, electricity equals prosperity. What other ones you want to talk about, Marcia?
Want to talk about the hippo?
Sure.
I guess I think that's funny.
And then I'll talk about Bob's.
This is from Jane Morris. Where does Jane?
Air.
And here she's depicted a hippo, and her message is, hippos kill more humans in a single year than the radiation from Chernobyl and Fukushima combined.
That reflects the misnomers about nuclear accidents.
Yes.
They weren't as bad as you think.
No.
And they actually brought about really positive change. And by the way, Japan is going back to nuclear power, and Chernobyl kept operating after the accident. There was a second reactor, kept operating because it produced so much electricity. This is a tiny nuclear power plant. My husband made it, actually with help from a friend, and she did a 3D rendition of one. She found that online. He lit it up and hooked it up. Oh, I want to give credit to our daughter, Christian Mildred Tordella Williams, who was a great consultant in this art contest. She helped him. She said, "Dad, make sure you put a long cord on if you're going in a museum, because you never know where the outlet is." This is Tim Ahern's work from Littleton, Mass., and he just shows, again, the environmental nature of nuclear power. What else do we have here? How about the youth entries, Marcia?
Right, we can do the youth entries. Most of our entries were from adults, but we did have a small contingent of youth, junior high and high school. And this is the first prize winner, for Charles Becker, The Future with Nuclear Fission. And it's kind of, what's the name of it?
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future motif.
Charles is from Littleton, and he's a graffiti artist as well. But you can see the nuclear explosion happening, and just, looking at it, framing it positively.
And then Grace Prince produced this oil painting of a very green earth surrounded by nuclear atoms, as you can see.
And Grace Prince is your granddaughter. We really wanted more children and young people to enter it, but we tried.
Right. Remember, we had judges. We didn't judge. We had 5 professional artists judge on a ranked choice.
Yeah. Shall we look at Eva's?
Yeah, Eva's is very beautiful.
Some of the artists really spent a lot of time. I hope you can get up close to this one. Again, this artist used cutout pictures from other books to represent how the positive aspects of nuclear power and how they fit in with the community, with nature.
This is a nuclear reactor, a depiction of a nuclear reactor, and you can see the piping go through to the next
stage. Yeah.
which is a turbine that is producing the electricity, and then the electricity is coming through to the village.
Basically, the nuclear power plant is a fancy way to boil water. You boil the water here, and then the steam turns the turbine, which in turn makes electricity. And again, on 1 square mile of land. And this nuclear energy is incredibly dense. Like a little Lego piece of uranium is equal to 1 ton of coal. And and the emissions are all contained. It's just an amazing gift. This one's from Canada, and they're just celebrating nuclear power. They call it the WestfordCAT Pope, and just showing it's kind. Let's have some fun with it. Here's another one, the atomic pill. Because it says in Denmark we don't have nuclear power. A bit funny, being the home of Niels Bohr. I guess he must be a nuclear scientist.
One of the earliest.
Thank you. Along with Marie Curie, a woman, by the way. So yeah, that's kind of fun because there are a lot of byproducts that are called isotopes, and I bet some of the listeners have benefited from that with either cancer treatment or for a medical diagnosis, a medical test, or even dental x-rays. And we're so used to being around radiation all the time. Like, I used to think that I shouldn't get dental x-rays, but we are just going outside today, we will be exposed to radiation from the sun. By the way, the sun is a radioactive gift that keeps us warm, grows our plants. Yeah.
So the next one is Quenching Acid Rain, which depicts all of these coal carts.
Train loads.
Train carts, or what are they called?
Yeah, box cars full of coal.
Cars,
yeah.
Full of coal, and nuclear can get rid of all of that.
And that's a mug full of uranium. And to replace just hundreds of box loads of coal. Remember, 1 ton of coal equals just maybe 2 grams, if that, of uranium.
And this one is going back to the 1950s when radiation was really feared. And this is a depiction of a person with a Geiger counter measuring the amount of radiation from a banana, because bananas actually have more, when you eat a banana, you get more radioactive radiation than living next to a nuclear power plant for a year.
Did you have a banana today?
Not today, but yesterday.
I did. Can you tell? I'm glowing. And in the background, there is a nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
Because that was the heyday. It was 3 Mile Island that kind of kiboshed nuclear power, as well as the China Syndrome, the movie, and people totally overreacted to that accident because it had a containment structure which worked. It was confusing, the workers didn't know what to do, and they stopped the cooling of the plant. And there are all kinds of bells and whistles going off. So they did the wrong thing, and the reactor contained it. And eventually, when that contained extra radiation was released, if you had been standing right next to it, it would have been the equivalent of a chest x-ray. No one died. There were long-term studies about the injuries, about the cancer rates. They could not come up with anything. And yet, the positive aspect was nuclear operators started to talk to each other, because the same valve that stuck and caused that problem had stuck at other plants. We have about 92 nuclear plants right now. So they all talk to each other, they train together, they share, oh, that valve got stuck, here's what you should do about it.
And the important thing is that every single accident that we've had has led to more and more safety advances for the plants. So today's plants are extremely safe.
They're actually walk away safe.
Right.
Leave the building, the computer will take care of it.
Yes, or no, it doesn't even need a computer. It's passive. That everything just falls into place through gravity. You have water.
They actually have a huge water tank in Vogel in Georgia, our last built nuclear plant in the United States.